I wanna understand more. Bakit parang why comedy?
To everybody, when you enter college, when you enter the workforce, when you realize the world is actually bigger than how you think it is.
Ang galing ng idea na it takes a lot of maturity for a brand to give that trust to a creator.
You can always turn something into something more meaningful.
What is up, cyberspace? Welcome back to your favorite podcast. This is Dog Brock Radio, napapakinggan at napapanood sa paborito mong YouTube channel, Dog Brock TV, Spotify at sa lahat ng podcast streaming platforms worldwide. Thank you sa lahat ng nanood, nag-stream last Sunday. Siyempre, panibagong Sunday habit na naman. I think, bagong flavor to sa mga usual na guests natin. Pero, siyempre, bagong taon. Gusto ko lang din sabihin sa inyo na ina-expand natin lalo yung audience, ina-expand natin lalo yung wisdom, yung knowledge na pwede nating i-share. So, siyempre, mag-e-expand din yung roster of guests natin dito sa podcast. Hindi ko napapahabain. Guys, I'm a fan of his content. I'm a fan of how he thinks as a creative, an advertising person, a brand guy. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a comedian and also a content creator. Baos Rufo.
Hello, hello Doug. Thank you for having me here, and hello sa ating mga listeners, followers, viewers, subscribers, worshipers. Kayo na bahala. Yes.
Salamat po sa inyo. Anyway, Baos, salamat sa oras mo.
Of course.
Thank you kasi in-IG lang kita at napagbigyan mo kami. Sa akin dito sa podcast, talagang gusto ko rin talagang ma-pick yung brain ng mga taong parang mover, parang shaker for me na parang, wait, he's doing something different. Parang ganun.
Wow, grabe naman. But thank you for those very, very kind words.
Anyways, parang pabilisin lang natin, Baos. Paano ka napunta sa gantong klaseng industriya? Ano ba talagang hilig mo? Bakit dito?
Yeah, so I think right now when people ask me, like, I think I'm a comedian na. I think I get to say na. Kasi maybe up until like last year, sabi ko, I do many things. But now I think masasabi ko na, okay, I am a comedian. So I think I do the infinity stones of comedy, meaning stand-up, improv, sketch. It's what I do now. And I have a podcast as well. I've only been doing it for 3 years. But prior to that, kasi nag-advertising ako for 10 years.
Wow.
So I'd like to think na related yung dalawa. I'm sure you can relate to that. So yes, I think I was always drawn to performance. Ako yung tipo ng bading na like nililipsing si Whitney Houston saka si Mariah sa bahay. And then I guess I've always loved to entertain or perform, have the limelight on me. And then I think once I sort of had an idea how the industry worked and like the kind of corner I can have for myself, that's when I realized na, okay, I think comedy is more or less my thing there.
Okay. I wanna understand more. Bakit why comedy?
Kasi we go through a lot of trauma. No, you would that's the go-to answer, right? Like comedians, like they went through something traumatic. I mean, while that is true because we all have our respective traumas, I think I was always just the class clown, the court jester. So I think I just weaponized that and now I get to monetize it. So
wow,
that's what I do.
We're weaponize and monetize.
Correct, yeah. So I was always that guy. Ako lagi yung nagjo-joke sa class. Medyo pilyo, namimiloso po. And then now na nalagyan rin ako ting technique and finesse. Now I get to call it comedy.
It's a profession now.
It is, yes.
Pero dati lang, pa-joke-joke lang. Passionate ka lang maging ganun.
Correct. Dati buga lang tayo ng buga. Ngayon may restraint na, may peaks and valleys, may artistic stamp, may performance stamp. So, gano'n na siya.
That I wanna understand later.
Okay.
When you write your script or when you write your performance, no. I'm sure as a comedian, ngayon sinasabi mo last year, nasabi mo na comedian ka na talaga.
Yeah.
Sa dami ng ginagawa mo at sinusubukan mo dati. Pero lahat din ng respective career, di ba, parang may goal yan. Pwedeng mag-tour, pwedeng gumawa ng, di ba, ganon. Puntahan natin yun mamaya. Pero, Baus, gusto ko malaman, saan ka pinanganak? Saan ka lumaki? Paano ka bilang bata?
Okay, so ako ay 33 years old. So I was born 1991, batang 90s. I'm an Aries. I grew up middle class. I grew up sa Taytay Rizal. Spent elementary, high school doon. And then I went to a science high school.
Okay.
So there was this pressure to excel academically and for me to make sure that turns into something like after graduating. Which of course the artist in me, which loved to resist and protest, was not having any of it.
Okay.
But yeah, there was that pressure. And then, so I grew up, I think, I always kind of like stuck out like a sore thumb because bata pa lang ako. I was flamboyant, I was effeminate. My dad always shares this story with me na I think merong isang birthday party sa Jollibee na I think during downtime, kinukuha ko daw yung mic at inutos-utusan ko daw yung ibang mga bata like to follow my lead, which is like, it surprised me that he remembers that story, but it also did not surprise me that I did that, because that's kind of like the nucleus of like how I live my life. Not that I just boss people around. I boss them with consent. No, but yes, I think I was always drawn to that, consumed a lot of pop culture. I think growing up in the 90s, especially mid 90s, there was such a very rich atmosphere in pop culture in the sense na, I was getting my Friday night cartoons with like X-Men, then also there was like Power Rangers, but my parents, who were young parents at that time, were consuming a lot of R&B music, South Border, Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston, Mariah, which is kind of like, thinking about it now, it's kind of like all those intersecting is basically how I like something. So that's how I grew up. Then went to a science high school, went to Ateneo, took up business, and then again yun nga na parang the creative in me was dying to like come out na and express himself. So basically that was the atmosphere I grew up in, and I think with anyone trying to be in the creative field, you're always just trying to honor the childhood influences that you have. So I feel like those are things that definitely flow through what I want to present to the world.
Evident siya sa mga nagiging trabaho mo, the way you present yourself for sure. Pero ang galing lang din to know na you grew up with a cool, like parang cool parents siya para sa akin.
Yeah, they were young because like it was kind of unplanned.
Okay.
So parang they were like clinging on to the last few days of youth they could, even though like they had me, which I think was good. I mean, I like to think everything happens for a reason, but I and during that time then like my dad was very much into like Motown music.
Okay.
So growing up I heard a lot of like Stevie, Aretha, ayan. So parang it was a very soulful household in every sense of the word.
Grabe yung musical influences then. I mean, influences, no? Parang musician, no?
Yeah, but I'm not a musician.
Pero, did you ever like sing or like...
Yes, I actually I sing because I went to a musical theater org in Ateneo.
Okay.
It's still a dream of mine to be in a musical, and I think the specific dream I have is to like write my musical comedy piece.
Wow.
I'm running towards it. I don't know how. I don't know if anybody needs like a Bimbi look-alike na kaya kumanta, dito po ako. But I'm still kind of like running towards that. Music, the way I write and rehearse my stand-up is very much like an auditory experience. So I think music is still very much a thing in my life. But yeah, I do musical parodies. Kasi parang I'm dying to sing. Paano ba? Sige nga, mang dog show tayo ng kanta, makakanta lang. So it's still very much it's still a force in my life right now.
Galing. And big factor nga doon is yung pag-expose sa'yo ng parents mo to this pop culture and all these things, no? Naalala ko kasi siguro we're like in the same age. Nalala ko lang din na inabot mo yung diskette era to airdrop era.
Oh, yes.
Diba?
Mhm.
Na pabilisan kayo ng classmate mo ng CD-ROM kung times 16 ba o times 32
Yeah.
yung PC na nabuo ng dad
Mhm.
mo sa'yo.
Yeah.
These are the Sega,
Correct.
PS1, PS2.
My particular memory is I think back in 2004.
Okay.
Merong isang com shop na magpapaburn ka ng CD.
Aha.
So nung nalaman kong pwede ka mag-burn ng CD, ang ginagawa ko, manonood ako ng latest episode ng TRL sa MTV. Ililista ko yung top 10 nila tapos yun yung ipapaburn ko. Because like, in a sense, that was curation already
Yes.
back in the day.
That was playlisting.
Yeah. So yes, definitely. And that was just 20 years ago. So I do know what you are talking about exactly. Yeah.
Galing lang din. Baus, bring us to like life in college. Like, how is it like in Ateneo? Alam mo na, high school pa lang, alam mo na gusto mo magkomedyante? Or kailan mo siya talaga parang, gusto ko tong mas i-pursue?
I think I've always known I wanted to try performing.
Mhm.
I wanted to know if like the passion I had in me was not delulu. You know, na
Okay.
parang like, kasi parang you consume a lot of like pop culture. You want to be part of that world that you watch, and then you want to see na, wait, baka it's all in my head. And then, you know, it was a slow start sa simula na parang, okay, I think this is more passion than technique. Let's maybe try to learn how to like do it properly. So that college for me was, I took up business, but I really took up musical theater more than anything else. I probably spent more time sa theater org than sa actual classroom. In fact, there was one subject that I failed that I had to take again
Yeah.
because of being so involved sa theater org. But it was such a risk because my only chance to take that class again was like the last semester of college. So if I failed that again, hindi ako gagraduate. At hindi ko to sinabi sa magulang ko up until gumraduate na ako.
Na meron ka pala isang subject na kailangan
kasi
balikan.
like, yeah, so like, that's how much I was willing to risk to just get a corner of that sky, to use a musical theater term. So, yeah.
But you see how, like, back then you don't have a career yet.
Mhm.
You're still in college.
Mhm.
Pero ako, I think I respect how hard to balance that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Na sa buong 4 na taon, may isa ka lang binagsak sa business sa Ateneo. Di ba? I mean, sorry, hindi ako sure kung paano, gaano kahirap or what, no? Pero to be involved doing art and doing ACADS at the same time, mahirap yun.
Yeah, mahirap siya, but parang the thought of not performing was actually mas mahirap in my head. If that makes any sense.
Artist ka talaga.
Correct. Ang
Ganun
drama,
yun.
no? But like, thinking about it now, I think mas hindi ko kakayanin na like, after school, diretso uwi lang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Video games or ano.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
Yun eh. Ikaw yung magpa-perform or ikaw yung manonood lang?
Correct.
Gusto mo
Yeah.
mag-perform. Okay. So, mas matagal ka sa theater, more than that, pero paano yung tay-tay to Katips every day?
Yes. Yeah, I think first 3 years, tay-tay to Katipunan, and then like the family moved to Mandaluyong. I think, I don't remember. But yeah, commute siya. Nakakatawa siya kasi tipong like, you will go to Katipunan, you will go to school wherein like the world feels like it is limitless and your world opens up every day.
Mhm.
Pero everyday uuwi rin ako to like, quote-unquote, naman probinsya, but
Mhm.
like, to a place na, to me, feels so small. So medyo meron siyang kaunting dissonance in terms of like how I want to marry that. But
Mhm.
I think that kept me grounded, and I wasn't expecting this podcast to be therapeutic, but I am recalling so many memories right now. So
Thank
I
you.
think it was very much that kind of it was a journey every day.
Daily commute, no?
Oo, yung daily commute.
Those were
Yeah.
the times na may nadidiscover ka about yourself. Tapos,
Oh, yes. Yeah. Especially because like nagko-commute ako noon, wala akong driver. Hindi katulad ng iba akong like classmates. And then I think I only started driving maybe heading into like 4th year
yung
college
nakalipat na dito sa Metro Manila.
Correct. So like most of it nagko-commute talaga. As in yung tipong pag may dumaan na bakanting jeep, yung sabay-sabay kayong mag-uunahan para makapasok, di ba?
Ba't yung jeep kaya natin, ang liit ng pinto, no?
Di ba? Like, kunyari sa school, ganda-gandahan ka, English ka, pero pag uwi mo, hindi, girl. Like, makikipagsikuhan ka kung kailangan mong sumabit pa uwi, makauwi ka lang. You would do that. But I wouldn't have it
You did
any
that?
other way because that was such, that was one heck of a life to live, I think. But yeah, definitely, I did do that.
Tapos pagod ka pa sa practice, sa
Correct.
play, no?
Yeah.
Presente. Okay. O, sige. Punta tayo sa ano si Bao sa Manong College? Anong klaseng bulakbol? Ano naman yung ano mo nun? Ano naman yung, let's say, ito yung mga things na hindi extracurricular at hindi ACADS part. Na tingin mo nakatulong sa personality mo ngayon?
Honestly, sobrang bait ko pa. Ngayon ko na lang na-realize, sobrang bait ko palang anak nun.
Paano?
Because I would yun nga, after theater, I would just go home. I'm good. I got my fill. Because when you're in college, you feel like there is this bigger need to express this bigger self that you don't even know you have inside, and you I don't know, medyo cliche, but like you drink, you party, you stay up late, you take out the car, and like come back in the morning. I never did any of that.
Okay.
And sinasabi ko nga sa magulang ko na medyo madali pala akong i-manage na anak no, kasi parang
You're a tamed blue eagle. Parang ganun.
Yeah. So, ganun siya. So, I did not have any of that.
Mhm.
So, kailangan mag-thank you sa akin yung magulang ko because I was so easy to manage. Yeah.
Are you only child?
Nope, I'm the eldest of 3.
Okay,
Yeah. Kuya, yes.
How's it? Okay, balik lang tayo. Bago lumipat, bago tinapos yung college, bago pumunta ng Katip, paano yung Taytay? Science High School, of course. Pero paano, shoutout to NJ, by the way, our head for audio and music is from Taytay.
Hey!
Maraming mga taga-East din dito.
Taytay people are the best.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me. Yeah.
Pero ano yung ano doon? Like, paano yung adjustment na yung mga classmate mo nung college na parang lahat, alam mo yun?
Great thing you asked that because nasa science high school ako, we were kind of programmed to believe na we were creamier than usual in terms of the crop.
Okay.
Diba? Na parang, you go through like several rounds of exams before you get there, and then medyo para siyang Hunger Games na parang nag-start yung batch nyo ng like 200 pero gagraduate kayo 110 na lang. I mean like, diba, parang
Tas
wow.
dapat ganun.
Diba, dapat ganun. like every man for himself. I mean like, we were kind of programmed that way. So when we graduated, there's a certain confidence na parang, you know what, baka naman may ibubuga ako paglabas ko ng Binangonan Rizal.
Alright.
And then like when I get to college, and I don't think this is exclusive naman to Ateneo. I think this very much happens to everybody when you enter college, when you enter the workforce, when you realize the world is actually bigger than how you think it is. And it can be disorienting.
Yes.
And it can be, I think, very insulting also. I think is a word we can use for that. So nakakauga siya is the term. Nakakauga siya. Parang, oh my God, hindi pala ako ganun katalino. Sabi nila, matalino daw ako.
Dami pa palang mas magaling sa akin.
And then I guess the more years I was just in college, I realized that there's always going to be someone smarter, more efficient, more hardworking, prettier, cooler, friendlier, more charismatic. I think I was exposed to that early on, which I think the effect was, I'm just gonna do me. I'm just gonna be secure, like, with what I have to offer. Because like, there's always going to be someone adjective plus than me. But I'm also my own kind of rock star. So I think at an early age, I guess those were kind of the foundations of the confidence that I have now. But definitely sa start when you realize that the world is such a big place, it can feel lonely and invalidating. Kasi parang wait, akala ko ito yung strengths ko and what I bring to the table, hindi pala. So now I have to go find new strengths and maybe so that was kind of how life was in college.
Galing lang din kasi parang ang bilis mong ina-adapt siya. In a sense na I know people from Ateneo and it's not that easy also. So, you're pivoting. Plus, nga, may balance doon eh.
Yeah.
Sabi mo nga, mabait ka pang anak eh. Mabait ka pang
Correct,
estudyante.
diba? So kung mas matalino sila, mas mabait ako.
Lamang pa rin, no?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Baus, I want to understand how's college going to is being part of an agency or advertising already is ito na yung first job mo or may iba pa?
Yes.
Paano to?
I got shot into the advertising world right away.
Mhm.
It was the perfect storm of many things. It was number one.
This was 2012, no?
2011.
13.
2011. So when I was about to graduate college, because I was heavily immersed in like the musical theater of it all, I wanted to be like a working actor. So like I'm just like, it's okay. I'm gonna be fine because masaya naman ako. At least I get to do what I want to do. And then my dad pressured me into like, ilang linggo na since you graduated, you gotta go find a job already.
Mhm.
And at that time, my partner at that time had friends in the advertising industry.
Okay.
And then I was also negotiating with my partner at that time because sabi niya like, take this job na. Like I can like put in a good word for you, or I know people who can help you like land an interview, but like ikaw na bahala doon. But I was also resisting. Like no, like I'm gonna like pursue my heart's desires. Then sabi niya but basically ang benta was like, i-consider mo na yung advertising because this is also a creative field in a way. And don't look at this as parang a dead end to your like creative pursuits. There's actually a lot of things to be learned here, which ended up being the case. And then I was like, okay, fine. And then ayun, I was referred to, nirefer niya ako sa isang friend niya, interview ako doon. Hindi ako nakuha doon, but I guess because I made a good enough impression there, yung friend niya na yon referred me to another friend, and then the person who ended up hiring me ended up becoming my mentor. And my God, I owe a lot
Wow.
of like what I know my strengths are now to that woman.
Wow.
But that's how I ended up. It was a lot of like, in that moment, I felt like I was compromising a lot of like what I wanted to do. And then like, thank God I was not too stubborn to not listen to anyone, because a big part of, I think, why I enjoy the things I do now is really because of my time in advertising.
It's the perfect storm, no? It's the perfect chaotic situation.
Yeah, kasi
na,
in that moment talaga, I was like, everyone is against me. Why? Bakit hindi nila ako pinapakinggan? Ayoko nga pumunta dyan. Ito yung
Artist
gusto.
nga ako eh.
Artist nga ako eh. And then like, nagustuhan ko naman din eventually. So, yeah.
ito yung mga mga things na hindi mo talaga naiintindihan. Tapos in due time, ipapaintindi sa'yo ng
Yeah.
life.
Ang tawag doon, kabataan na delulu.
Ay, lahat tayo may delulo eh.
Correct.
Lahat tayo may pinaka, lahat tayo may
Correct.
gustong gawin eh.
Correct.
Marami pa kami pag-uusapan, sobrang nag-enjoy ako. Sana kayo rin. Nandito pa rin kayo sa paborito niyong podcast. Kasama natin si Baus. Ito po ang Dog Brock Radio. Yo, Cybergang, maraming salamat sa pagsuporta dito sa Dog Brock Radio Podcast. Kung hindi nyo pa napapanood yung iba pa namin mga episode, meron kaming 100 plus ng mga episode ng podcast. Check nyo lang din yung Dog Brock Radio Podcast playlist. Huwag nyo kalimutan mag-subscribe, mag-follow, at salamat palagi sa suporta nyo. Keep on winning. Yo, Cyberspace, nandito pa rin kayo sa paborito nyong podcast. Ito po ang Dog Brock Radio. Kung hindi ka pa nakapag-subscribe, subscribe, follow. Check nyo lang lahat yan. Dog Brock TV sa lahat. Sa Spotify, Dog Brock Radio. Anyways, balik tayo kay Baus. Baus, I wanna understand. Sobrang dami kong gusto malaman sa'yo, di ba? Eto, nakapasok ka na ng ahensya.
Yes.
Nag-end up ka na dito sa mentor mo.
Correct.
Anong una mong ginawa doon? Posisyon, in-applyan mo? Saan ka natanggap?
So, ang very first agency ko was Mad 888. It's a boutique agency. Nagsara na siya, pero ang claim to fame niya is ito yung, I don't want to say short-lived, but ito yung advertising agency ni Chris Aquino at ni Boy Abunda from 2007 up until, I think they were around until 2015. Yun. So anyway, so basically what that means, most of how I learned how to like run a brainstorming session, come up with an idea, galing po kay Boy Abunda.
Wow. So this is the agency, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the agency behind Backroom Entertainment.
No, but Backroom was kind of like the go-to talent agency of that advertising agency. Pag
Oh,
may
got
events, pag may campaigns.
Okay.
So, kilala ko si Rowena ng Backroom.
Yeah. Doon ka kukuha ng talent.
Correct. Kilala ko
Okay.
si Rowena ng Backroom. Kilala ko rin si... may isa pa. Anyway, I know Aya. Kilala ko sila.
Okay, got it. Tapos doon ka agad, straight from college, tas ganun agad. How was it? Paano mo siya tinake? As a
I hated it.
Okay.
I hated like the first 5 months. And like, yung 6 month yung regularization, di ba? Like yung first 5 months, I was just like, I hate it here. As in tipong like, gusto ko nang umuwi. Found every reason to be late without mapagalitan. Also found every reason na makauwi ng maaga
Mhm.
without pagalitan. And then, I was very fortunate enough with yung mentor ko na ngayon. I don't know what she saw in me. Maybe she always saw a star. No, no, I don't know what she saw in me, but I think the turning point was, and she was very smart about this, merong isang, I forget na the account, may isang account na in-involve niya ako from the time we got the brief from the client
Mhm.
to developing the concept, and then ako yung pinag-present niya.
Okay.
I think she wanted me to have the chance to get that. You know sa advertising, like may mga times na when it goes so well,
Yes.
like kinwento sa'yo nung kliyente anong gusto niya, nabigay mo yung gusto niya, pinresent mo, tuwang-tuwa sila, binili nila yung konsepto, and like she wanted me to get that rush
Mhm.
because I think she knew that because I was into performing, I kind of wanted the applause.
Hinog ka na rin,
And-
parang ganun.
And kind of like the version of that in advertising. Then she gave it to me, and then I was like, oh my God, I think I can do this. And then eventually, like coming up with a communication strategy apparently like came naturally to me more than others. So parang okay, this is something I can do. Parang it took me getting out of myself to just know na I actually have other talents that kind of lend themselves to the construct of an advertising agency, which is quite empowering kasi kung ang kausap mo sabong panlaba or isang hotdog, sabihin nila bibili namin yung konsepto mo for like 2 million.
Mhm.
Parang, okay, game.
Mhm.
So, that was a game changer for me kasi I think I was able to see, wait, I need to look at my creativity with a wider lens as
Sorry,
opposed to
pause.
just this.
Ilang taong ka nito?
I was 20 years old.
20 years old, 5 months into the agency life.
Yeah.
Ganon yung thought process mo.
Oh, yeah.
Sige, balik tayo doon.
Yun. So, ganun, parang, nalaman ko lang agad-agad na, okay, parang, I mean, magandang signal ang money for
Yes.
value.
Yes,
And, you know,
of course.
it was definitely a way to blind a 20-year-old.
Mhm.
And that was good for me. That was good for me at that time.
Sa
Because
yung timing, no?
yeah, I think what it ultimately did was kinalma niya yung ego ko. Kinalma niya yung ego ko na tipong, wait lang, you don't know it all.
Mhm.
You don't know it all. And guess what? There are things you can know that you can actually be good at.
Mhm.
Which is like a very healthy challenge to the ego. Kasi parang, magaling ka pero di ka pa ganun kagaling. You know what I'm saying? Which I feel like is the best way to probably motivate a 20-year-old. Na parang, you have it, pero wait lang.
Do you have a mentor na that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was that boss that I had.
Okay.
so-
Siya kumbaga
Oo.
mentorship na rin yun.
Hinubog niya ako at
Ang galing, no? Sa regularization
nung
point.
malapit na.
Nung malapit na,
Which
no?
is good because I think that meant that as a leader, she wanted me to do well. And like, rarely do
very
you
valid,
find that in like a manager. Like, if 5 months into the job, medyo like flop ka, parang why do I give you the conditions to prove otherwise? And she did give me that opportunity. So,
Then nakuha mo yung project.
yeah, definitely. And then nagsunod-sunod. And I
Nag-sign
think,
ka na, nakuha mo yung project, nag-sign ka ng
correct. And
regular.
then, and ito nangyari din nun was, there was also this happy coincidence of like, we were getting invitations to other pitches.
Wow.
And I was applying parang the same process and technique and it was working. So again, to the ego, what it gave me was, see, like, you can learn new things and you have other talents. Kalma bading.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yun,
Hindi
so,
laging kailangan nasa theater ka
or
nagpa-perform.
parang like chill.
So from a learning phase, ito nagpa-perform ka na.
O parang like there is an element of performance here, and I think when I started advertising, mas doon ko inon yung pagiging ideator ko. Because I think, when you are in theater, you're just like, this is the text, this is the role, ito yung lyrics ng song, execute lang. Parang like you're expected to perform on certain parts of like the workflow. But I think sa advertising, like, you can be involved sa start, then you sell it to them, tell them how you see it, and then, ayun. So I think, and I think mas doon ko na-discover na, I'm a concepts guy too. I'm an ideas guy too. I'm not just about a form of execution.
Tingin mo nakatulong yung ahensya nyo bilang it's a boutique
Oh
agency?
yes, definitely. Because at that time, I had friends/peers who were in multinational agencies.
Mhm.
Ang dami nilang red tape. Parang tipong in a quarter, naka-implement na ako ng 3 campaign sila. Mag-audience testing pa lang kung mag-shoot pa sila or hindi.
Ang daming dinadaanan.
Ang daming dinadaanan. Which of course has its perks.
Yeah, of course.
Eventually, I did move to a multinational agency. So I did learn that part. But I think so grateful that I started with the multinational with the boutique agency, because like doon talaga like kailangan maging Swiss Army knife ka. Minsan writer ka, minsan accounts ka, minsan strat ka, minsan messenger ka. So
Minsan
talaga
PM ka.
no, as in talagang like thank goodness
Naikot mo
doon
yun.
ako nilagay. But like I was just telling you earlier, during that time I hated it. But it's just like ignorance is bliss, I guess.
Did you have like internships or
No,
during this
because
wala na?
I landed a job 7-8 weeks after graduate. So spent like 2-3 weeks konting bakasyon, then like wala, nag-send ako ng mga CV.
The pressure is on. Parang ganun.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, para lang tumahimik na yung tatay ko, let's just go find a job na.
Okay. How many years in the boutique and how many years nung nandun ka na sa multinational?
I only did, so I was with the boutique agency for 3 years.
Okay.
And then I
The rest
think
of it.
everything else I like multinational na.
And you're still connected with that first mentor?
No na. Iba na. I moved to like to other firms na.
Okay. What's mainly the difference aside from yung madaming red tapes, how execution works really on like a bigger or a multinational agency versus the smaller one, the independent one?
Honestly, it's really just the same.
Okay.
I guess parang tipong kung sa boutique sanay ako na parang point A to B. Sa multinational, wait, merong A.1, A.2 before you get to B. Which is tipong as a stubborn Aries na I just want like the most efficient way possible. Medyo nakakaano siya. So, but I think wala naman talagang like significant difference. And I think that's a very informed opinion that I have, because like I know people who used to be in multinationals who kind of formed their own boutiques. I know people who continue to parang move from boutique, multinational, then balik ulit. So parang because more or less pare-pareho lang naman. At the end of the day, ang trabaho lang naman, pasayahin yung kliyente.
Talaga.
Oo.
Boss, gaano ka-importante na parang aligned yung mga tao sa isang ahensya? In terms of, alam mo yun, para ma-serve yung client?
Honestly, I don't think it has to be this super solid unit.
Okay.
Na parang everybody has to be aligned with like the company values, because I think more or less, this is something I learned when I eventually managed people. We all have different end games. Iba-iba tayo ng agenda, what we want to get out of this job for like the next year, the next 2 years. But that doesn't mean hindi natin pwedeng i-align yung steps to get to that destination. I'm not sure if I'm making like a clear comparison here, but it doesn't have to be like that. I say that, for example, like if there's a client yung iba, ang objective nila, they just, some people are just like working for their sweldo. And that is very fair.
Mhm.
Diba? Some people are just working there para makalis sila lang sick. Some people are working there because they're building a resume, because after nilang ma-implement ng project na to, ilalako na nila yung resume nila. Diba? Some people are there because they want the glory of being able to put out good work. And just because iba-iba yung end game yung lahat doesn't mean you cannot function as an efficient unit. So, yun.
Okay. Ang galing nun Oo nga, no? Oo, talagang kailangan nyo lang, dahil iba-iba endgame, kailangan nyo lang talagang magkaintindihan dun sa gusto nyong equals.
Yeah.
Tell us, paano kaya, boss, yung process ng, kung ako makikipag-work sa isang ahensya, pwede mo ba kami pasilipin kung ano yung pinaka-efficient way na nagsisimula yung pitch hanggang sa na-deliver yung completion ng project?
Okay, so I think I will answer that question also as a content creator, because
Sige.
I think content creators now essentially function as kind of they're expected to produce creative work. So in a way, they share that in common with an advertising agency. So
Maliit na silang mga ahensya rin on their
I
own.
guess you can. I don't want to fundamentally say yes, so that baka may ma-offend ng mga taga-ahensya. But
Yeah.
But yes, there are definitely a lot of similarities with like what I do as a content creator and what I did as an advertising person before. Right now as a content creator, ang pinaka-favorite kong makuha na brief from a client was yung tipong, ito yung product, ito yung benefit, ito yung mood and tone, bahala ka na kung anong gusto mong gawin.
Ganun kasimple yung brief.
Yeah. And you would be very surprised as to like how many campaign briefs are actually written as simple as that. Because and I think it takes a lot of maturity for a brand, for a business owner to surrender that much control to a creator. I would get it why you would want to parang bombard that document with historical data from the last 10 years so that they get the full context of what you're trying to communicate. But for me, that's the best one, because I think that's the weird way with like working with creatives. Parang hindi mo sila pwedeng pagsabihan, pero
Okay.
kailangan mo silang pagsabihan enough to inspire them. Which I think is like very important. Parang you need to, parang ano yung tamang sundot to get them flowing, because that is the goal, to get their creative juices flowing. Pag wala kang sinabi, di aimless, pointless
Tama.
yung expression.
Mhm.
Pag masyado ka naman maraming sinabi, mararamdaman mo na parang napaka-contrive nito. So it's that, and I think that is a particular art form, inspiring your creatives to work. 'Di ba? Kasi
Tama.
yun ang natutunan ko sa advertising, and now I get to see na parang kaya pala ganito ako mag-respond to briefs that are written the way I want them written. Like I write right away. Yung mga brief na parang, oh my God, baka may manood nito. Yung mga briefs na sobrang ang daming pages. I'm like, wait, so what do you want me to say? Because it feels like you have it all figured out already. So yun, so that's it's a very interesting thing that I have a lot of experience on.
Briefs. Okay. Naintindihan ko na sobrang importante na siguro align din talaga sa tipo ng content creator, influencer, or kung sino man yung i-hire or makikipagtrabaho ka with, no? Pero ang galing ng idea na it takes a lot of maturity for a brand to give that trust to a creator that can ruin the reputation of your campaigns, 'di ba? Pero it's also very important to really work with, kung sino man yung mag-i-influence nung project or mag-handle ng project, 'di ba? Pero what do you think, gusto ko lang mag-shift sa paano nangyayari yung briefs today ngayon na content creator ka na versus nung nasa ahensya ka pa doing advertising? Like, gaano nag-shift because of TikTok, short forms, all this na advancements ng technology ngayon at ng social media?
I think, I'm always gonna give like a gray answer. Parts of it have changed, and then parts of it like stay the same. I think the parts that change definitely brands are willing to, I think, trust content creators more and look at us content creators as gatekeepers of particular audience types. You get what I'm saying? Like, kunyari, like, alam ko, kilala ko yung audience na like corporate who wants to be entertained, who they are a little creatively inclined. So, pag nag-push back ako, parang it comes from like an informed place. Versus, I think, nung nasa advertising ako, pag nagpo-push back ka sa kliyente, parang, you know, the client always really has the final say and kind of they can say, but I'm the client and I have data that says mali kayo. When I think pag content creator ka, because you also have access to data,
Yes.
primary data, but because they're our data,
Mhm.
I think mas emboldened ng kami na parang to say yes and say no to things when we want to say yes or say no to them.
Okay, understood. Paano ka naman nakatawid? Ito na, with all these experiences, paano ka naman nakatawid sa paggawa muna ng content bago napunta sa podcast? Kasi all these experiences, ikaw na tong batang laging parang gustong nasa iyo yung ilaw, gusto mo mag-perform, gusto mo ikaw yung bida, gusto mo ikaw yung pinapanood at nabibigay mo naman yung actual na value kasi sigurado naman ako lagi ka nilang kino-compliment. Pero paano siya napunta sa like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna record my shit and I'm gonna put it on socials. I want more people to listen or to watch me or know about me or what I do.
So I think this is another story of like a perfect storm, happy coincidence. So I think 5-6 years into working, when I started working, even though I already fell in love with advertising,
Of course.
I still kept my love for performing, for entertainment, only because pag advertising person ka, you kind of have to be abreast sa mga kung ano ang trending, ano yung nakakatawa. So in a way, parang, okay, I still get to, you know, like the things I usually like for work. So performing again, I think was always part of the plan. I was parang, I never lost touch of that. I think it was just a matter of like, ano yung magiging iteration ng gagawin ko, di ba? So I think about 5-6 years into working, I finally took up an improv class. Yung improv in Spit.
Okay.
Now, yeah. So I finally took up an improv class.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I finally took up an improv class and then I've always wanted to do it. I only took my first class in 2017, but I think as early as 2013, I wanted to take a class already. And I finally like did it after so many stops and starts.
Okay.
Ginawa ko siya. And then I loved it. And everything I thought it was going to be, how I was going to enjoy it, how I was going to excel in it, happened and more. So like, yes, finally I did it. So I finished my improv class from like 2017 up until 2019, all 5 levels of yung Third World Improv. Basically, same, yung members ng Spit, they teach improv. And then, so medyo, nung nag-work na ako from like 2017 to 2019, I would perform maybe like once every 2 months, once every 3 months. And happy na ako doon. Up until like hindi na ako happy doon. I wanted more. Diba? Then I saw...
Nung nasa sharpen mo na lalo.
Oo,
nung
kasi
nasa
parang...
ibang level ka na ng class.
Kasi parang nandun na ako sa weird zone of like, it's a hobby, but I think I can start charging more for this, you know that? And it always starts that way. I think everything could start that
And
way.
it's your creative outlet while working
Correct.
sa
Oo.
agency.
And sidebar, when I was taking up an improv class, it was also helping me improve as an advertising person. Anyway, there's a whole lot of... May applied improv. Like, there's so many things. Just like, self-development siya.
Oo.
And then, I saw na a lot of my peers sa improv started going to this open mic of like different comedy acts. Pwede kang stand-up comedy, pwede kang improv comedy, pwede kang musical comedy. And then sabi ko, wait, ako parang nakita ko yung parang after learning improv and performing here and there, nakita ko, dito ka pala pwedeng i-apply pa yung natutunan ko. So there was an
May platform.
So there was an open mic na I saw a peer of mine like do stand-up. And sabi ko, okay, I think I can write like a 5-minute bit about whatever. So, I joined the open mic.
Mhm.
I placed.
Mm.
So, parang 10 acts kayo. And then I placed third. Even though like ako yung unang act. I was like, they're not gonna remember me. There's recency bias.
Mhm.
And then I placed. I took that as a signal from the universe na parang, oh, I can do this. And it was a very, very happy experience. But the interesting thing is, I did that open mic 1 week before lockdown. So,
2020.
kumbaga like there was this thing I wanted to pursue wherein I get to write and perform it. I was like, parang ito na yung next frontier nung expression ko Tapos so nung nag-place
Perfect na lahat ng nangyayari.
perfect na. Tapos like third place ako. Sabi ko, okay, that's good. I'm gonna write more. I'm gonna come back. And then, nga for like
Face mask.
face mask. Tas
With
parang,
face shield.
as in tipong, and nauga ako dun kasi parang, I found it. And then biglang sabi ng universe, hold on, the world might be ending. And talagang, I think realizing now, I think I was kind of depressed that time.
Okay.
Kasi parang the rug was pulled from under me after having something so good, something I've wanted for so long. And then it was like, but there are not gonna be shows anytime soon. But eto na. So I know it's a very long setup for your
Of course.
for your answer. But that particular performance of me doing my stand-up debut, 1 week before lockdown, vinidyo siya nung prod team ng open mic.
And being the first performer,
So vinidyo nila yon. Pro shot pa siya, 2 angulo, ganda ng audio. I uploaded it on December 25, 2020.
Okay.
And then I just uploaded it. Sumabog siya sa TikTok.
Okay.
And this was like from March to December, I was like, nag-resign na ako from my job that time because I had other like burnout. Meron akong burnout story. You can check the burnout story sa Kaya Pa Ba with Baus Rufo na podcast if you want to hear more about my burnout story. And then sumabog ako sa TikTok. And then, of course, that time wala pang live events.
This
but
is an 8-year-old content, no?
It's
na nakatabi
8-month-old.
lang. 8-month-old
nakatabi
content.
lang na parang hindi ko pinost.
At
Kasi
wala kang strategy for this.
Busy ako sa work ko noon. Kasi so parang nag-resign ako and I finally had time like pinost ko siya. And like, wow. And then fortunately that time may mga nakabangko pa akong videos from like past improv performances. So I think I gained about like maybe 20,000-25,000 followers in like a week. Na parang, what is happening? And this was during the time when like TikTok was like
blowing up.
Like opening up doors to new talents
Yes.
noong 2020 to 2021.
Yes.
Diba? Like talagang, like, everyone was
The new
welcome.
era of new celebrities.
So that happened. And then, of course, wala pang live events. But I used that. I started doing mga comedy mga sketch, mga parodies, drag race parodies. And then when live events eventually came back, like end of 2021, nag-open mic na ako. Because parang feeling ko, I used that time to sharpen pa my writing para when live events came back, I'm coming back like a stronger writer than before the pandemic. But yun siya, it was like, I was sitting on that clip for 8 months. I mean, for something that I did 1 week. Like, parang everything had to go exactly as planned for me to like explode on TikTok that way.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a very nice war story.
So is it safe to say that you were in your burnout days when you recorded those videos that blew up first time?
I think I was starting to get there because
Okay.
I was with an organization that I was extremely unhappy with.
Okay.
So nag-start na yun doon. And then of course the pandemic only aggravated
Yes.
things. And then so that's what happened. And then did you ask about the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paano ka naman nakatawid sa podcast?
Sorry. It's a very long answer. Podcasting happened when nung akala ko live events would be back na nung August and September of 2021. And
Okay.
then Delta wave came in. I'm sure you remember that. Like,
Yeah.
may isang linggong back to normal na. Tapos biglang joke lang, wait lang. And I was like, oh my God.
Delta variant,
No.
Mhm.
Like, I'm ready na ako. Like, may plano na ako. And then, a friend of mine from improv, si Mix Chanel, who eventually ended up in Drag Race Philippines Season 3, we were like, we need a creative outlet. Do you want to like recap the latest season of Drag Race UK? I'm like, sure, gawin natin. And then, yeah, we kept doing the podcast. And then when live events came back, we were kind of at the forefront of how parang drag / queer events would be shaped nung
Mhm.
kaka-start lang.
Mhm.
So we kind of put ourselves in like a very strategic position.
Mhm.
So we started viewing parties and then more podcasts.
You're the media amplifying those movements.
I guess
that
I
time.
guess definitely. And then it only parang reached better momentum when Drag Race Philippines came a few months after. So now people knew how to
Galing
parang
ng timing.
I mean, it wasn't really timing. Like we
Did,
really
did you know that drag
we planned it. We planned it. We were
darating
like
yung ano?
we planned it in the sense na when we started the podcast, we were like, hey, I think Drag Race Philippines will air in 6 to 8 months. Siguro naman by then may live events na. I think it's smart if we like put ourselves in this position. And then we had a hypothesis. We executed the hypothesis, and then now it is a yearly offering that we have every time there's a Drag Race season. People know na we are one of the viewing party destinations.
Mhm.
I've turned it into a solid publicity machine with like sponsors and like media partners and so ayun siya.
And the mileage is sobrang grabe.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's safe to say we get good mileage every time there's a Drag Race season because parang kami yung isa sa mga fan service parang destinations for it.
Sobrang daming kong values na nakukuha sa'yo, pero syempre,
Go lang, tanong lang.
kalaban natin yung oras
No,
paminsan-minsan.
go lang.
Boss,
You can go. You can I can give you like another 10 minutes. Go.
pero boss, I think, this is a new era of entertainment. This is a new era of media and social media. Pag na-record mo yung skit mo ngayon, 100 years from now, malinaw pa rin siya as 4K versus 20 years ago.
Sana.
Nung nag-burn tayo ng CD, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Di ba? Wala pa 4K nun. Ngayon, ang linaw sa mata natin. Pero, tingin mo saan papunta to? Saan papunta ang Philippine entertainment, ang comedy, ang social media?
I think I can only comment on like the comedy part of it because I feel like mas dun ako pinaka-informed to give an opinion. But I think comedy is probably just going to keep getting bigger. Maybe in like the next 5 to 10 years. And I don't see it stopping even after 10 years. I say that because we've always been like a comedy culture with noontime shows, Tito Vic and Joey, Dolphy, Showtime nung mid-2000s. And then what the pandemic did was just kind of democratize the forms of comedy that people can consume. The fact na improv, which for the longest time, my friends from Spit, parang they had a hard time selling shows for like 20 years. And then it just took them TikTok, and now they're rock stars. And then you
sold
have
out shows
sold
everywhere,
out
every
shows.
time.
And then if the stand-up scene that I'm a part of continues to grow, these are, I think, in the comedy scheme of things, these are more niche options. So I think if these spaces are growing, I'm sure the more mainstream features are also growing, which I guess ultimately is a great sign if you want to be a comedian in the next 5 to 10 years, because like everyone is growing. So I think that is good. I think Red Oliero already broke ground for having his Netflix special.
Wow, yeah.
I think we're just gonna see more of that. I think it's high time for another Saturday Night Live kind of show in the Philippines. When I say high time again, because we had iterations like this with Tropang Trumpo and Bubble Gang, which is still around. So I think parang magiging hinog na naman. I'm sure a streamer somewhere is already trying to pilot something. So I think ultimately that's good. And the fact that comedy creators like me, Makoy Dubs, Davao Conyo, if corporate space continue to parang invest in us, like everybody in comedy is winning if you think about it.
It's a developing niche. It's an option. It's a very good space in the entertainment industry. It's being supported by a lot of groups and
Yeah.
organizations.
Yeah, and I think that's your sign to say na I think it's a great time to invest in
To invest.
comedy. Yeah. Because I think dahil din ang mas na-uplift ngayon are people na mas vocal pa sa technique nila,
Mhm.
like stand-up comedy
Yep.
nga and improv.
What are the difference? Quick lang.
Stand-up comedy is like it's a rehearsed bit. So it's something I write and then I perform several times. The jokes continue to evolve.
Mhm.
Improv is like we do a show now. I just ask him, "What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color?" Blue. Give me a non-romantic relationship. Non-romantic relationship. Best friend. So now we are going to make a scene about two best friends and why we love or hate the color blue. And then we just run with it. It's improvised on this like
At yun yung tinake mo ng class na 5 levels.
Yes, ito yung ginagawa ng Spit. That's improv on the spot. Stand-up is structured.
Yung ikaw.
Yun.
That's
yeah,
improv. Okay.
that's from Spit and now like and ganun ka intense yung improv craze now. Like yung game.
Yeah, lahat ng Christmas party,
Yung
guys,
game na nilalaro lang namin dati sa classes, like ginagawa na siya ngayong Christmas party game na parang kami, but we've been doing that for so many years. Nakakatuwa because like it has like the culture has moved na to
It's a different
that
art.
era, yeah.
So in rap, ano ko lang ba?
Yeah, sure,
Correct me if I'm wrong. In rap or
Correct.
in hip-hop, in our niche,
Uh-huh.
it's like written versus freestyle.
Uh-huh.
Di ba? Okay. So
Yeah.
that's improv, that's stand-up.
That's
Ano pa?
stand-up. Yung sketch na gina, when I say
Sketch.
sketch comedy, yung mga yung mga content ko on TikTok, that's sketch. So it's
Okay.
basically like a script that you rehearse with.
Sketch ang tawag doon.
Oo, parang Saturday Night Live. So parang yung mga kunyari, pag nagwiwig ako sa
Mhm.
TikTok, advertising parodies, that counts as a sketch kasi parang it's
Mga musical parodies, mga sketch na
yeah.
yun.
I think I think that still qualifies as sketch comedy. Yes. So
Ano pa yung meron na you think yung tatlo lang yung
trauma
medyo
comedy. No, I don't know. I mean, hindi ko pa alam kung ano pang meron. I mean, I think there's another
may mga subs
option ko
pa,
like
no?
like alt comedy. But when you say alt, man, it encompasses a lot of like mediums. But
Galing.
mainly, I think those are the ones I'm exposed to and I'm a part of. I'm sure there are other things or terms that the internet would gladly tell me what those other forms are. But those are the ones I'm parts of.
Boss, mabilis na lang para sa ating audience dito sa Dog Brock TV. Tingin mo, with all these experiences, ano yung biggest lesson mo ngayon today? Doing comedy, doing your art form, doing brand campaigns for clients. Ano yung parang caveat nitong lahat para sa'yo? Na pwede mo i-share sa audience natin.
Wow. That's a loaded question. It's a great question actually. What it has taught me, I guess, is I think what it has taught me is you can always turn something into something more meaningful. What do I mean when I say that? Was burned out from corporate before I did stand up. I wanted my suffering to mean something, and now I continue to make money from that suffering with my corporate. I wanted the creative outlet. That's why I took an improv class. I kept going at it. I think there's always this like force from the universe. It's like pulling us, like go here, go here, go here, and listen to that. And know na while you feel na if you listen to that, it's gonna be great. It's actually going to be more spectacular when you listen to it.
Wow.
It is going to be something else. Yeah.
Hindi ko na-expect yun. biggest takeaway for me with this episode, sobrang special niya. Uwi ko lang from Iloilo. Happy Dinagyang Festival nga pala. Sobrang solid ng mga kababayan natin dyan. Pero, diretso sa podcast episode na to, na-realize ko lang na pinagdadaanan ko rin siya ngayon actually. Kahit na hindi mo sure, in due time maiintindihan mo. Pero kung meron kang pakiramdam, kahit hindi mo mapaliwanag, try mo subukan. Galing nun. Thanks, Baus.
Thank you so much. Like, this was amazing. I mean, like, I'd love to come back because I feel like ang dami pa I think
Marami pa.
I think we only went surface level to everything. Hindi pa tayo like lumalalim with everything. So, ang dami
Touch base pa lang to.
Parang dinaan natin lahat and then but like ang dami pa. But this was fantastic. Yes.
Sa kanila makikita, mapapanood, mapapakinggan?
So yes, I am Baus Rufo on Instagram. That's BAUSRUFO. I am Hey, it's Baus on TikTok. I do a lot of things. I guess by now, medyo alam nyo na yun. But I do have a solo podcast called Kaya Pa Ba with Baus Rufo. So it is a talk show type of podcast, very much like this, but we mainly focus on kung kaya pa bang pagandahin ng life? Is this all there is? So lovely life lessons, daming baklaan, daming tawanan, but more importantly, maraming big words pang TED Talk. So go listen to that on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube.
Solid. Baus, thank you so much. Lahat ng links yan nasa description sa baba. Sobrang bihira lang ako din makapag-invite ng mga tao na nakikita ko sa internet na hindi ko directly or personal na connected with. Sobrang thankful lang ako na sinishare niya rin yung value na meron siya. And sana may nakuha kayong value as much as I did kasi sobrang eye-opener to na ang laki pa ng mundo. Ang laki pa ng mundo sa labas kung saan ka lumaki. Sabi nga ni Baus,
Mas malaki pa sa Taytay.
mas malaki pa sa Taytay. Kita tayo soon. Kita tayo next Sunday. Ako po si Dog Brock. Baus Rufo. This is Dog Brock Radio.